Good morning. How are you? Thank you for asking. I'm fine. I think. I like to think twice. I like to be provoked, thought provoked. I like to read between the lines. I like to read lips, wrinkles, analyze what they mean. I like to rediscover a word I haven't heard for years. Then I tend to think that language is rich. But then again, I like the thoughts of Wittgenstein, who said that language is poor and fails to be exact. And I like to think that over and again. I like the thought that you are here to hear other people think. It's nice. I hope you are aware that you are here, that you sit back and listen. Maybe you will make a short mental note about a certain talk and forget about it. Maybe you will disagree and shake your head and forget about it. Maybe you will applaud to show your appreciation and forget about it. I can imagine that you will need some breath between two talks. What will you be doing then? Check Facebook. Tweet. I am here. Are you here too? No. I hope you will, that's something that will happen to you, that step 2 will happen to you. To sit back and listen is just a state of being. To sit back and introspect, that's a state of motion. I was in Osaka once, at this 8-story high department store, Yumobashi, in the very crowded district Umida. There I was, a bag hanging over my shoulder, and I stood on the 3rd floor, which houses the computer department. Hundreds and hundreds of computers for sale. And above each one of them, hundreds and hundreds inscriptions in Japanese. Thousands and thousands of red Japanese letters. And I couldn't read a single one. It was horrifying. I thought I was lost. I really thought that I could disappear any minute. But then I realized I had a book in my bag. A book. And this horrifying experience changed into a fantastic one. There I was, on the 3rd floor of this shopping store, of this shopping mall, and thinking, I am an island of mother tongue. This is my island in the middle of Osaka, Japan. The only one I can understand is that language in my mind, is the language in this book, this translated book. And the only sign I can read is that green pictogram showing a man walking behind an arrow. Get out, there's the exit. Get out, Bart, before you disappear altogether. It was wonderful. I hope you will have an experience like that too. It's nice to discover that you are thinking and putting it in words. It would be nice that you would be talking to somebody else and suddenly realize, this is what I was thinking. That would be nice. Maybe you could write it down in a personal notebook and not on Facebook. That would be nice too. The book in my bag was a book by G.M. Coetzee called Foo. Well, in Dutch, Mr. Foo and Mrs. Barton. Lovely book about a woman who is shipwrecked and washes up on the shore of the island of Robinson Crusoë. Mrs. Barton asks one evening, how many words does Friday know? And Robinson Crusoe says, as many words as he needs here. We're not in England. Let's quote the author. Wouldn't it have alleviated your loneliness if Friday had been able to speak fluent English? Says Mrs. Barton. You could have introduced him to some of the blessings of civilization and made a better person of him. What is the point of a life in silence? Crusoe pointed towards Friday's mouth. He has no tongue. They cut out his tongue. After this, Crusoe enumerates the possibilities. What could have happened with Friday? But we will never know. Never will we know. That's a nice idea. Once in a while I'm longing to be an island, because only in silence I can change. To sit and think is a state of being. To sit and introspect is a state of motion. I need this silence to get rid of the rubbish, the white noise, the things that got under my skin. For the past 6 weeks, I was in New York. Very nice. Boiling city. 8 million people. I could understand the language around me, but the city offered me an island of mother tongue. And it was nice to get rid of everything. I don't know if you know the conceptual artist Alighieri Fabrizio Boetti. No? It's a very interesting artist. He is very known for his embroidered maps of the world. Nice. He renamed himself. He called himself Alighiero e Boetti. Alighiero and Boetti. Because he wanted to have in his name the duality, the opposites, order and disorder, error and perfection, individual and society. Nice. Alighiero e Boetti. In New York I saw an exhibition of this, and there it was, a very nice quote that I didn't forget, because I have been writing it down in my notebook, my survival kit to talk to myself. There it was, a quote. I show you my notebook, because otherwise you think it doesn't exist. Often, when I draw, I use both of my hands. Normally, I'm right-handed. When I draw with my left hand, it is a kind of conversation with myself, exploring the positive and the negative, the ego and the alter ego, the order and disorder, and mounting it on paper. It is as if one hand there is Alighiero, and on the other, Boeti. I was so happy. I could write it down in my notebook, and it was a present I could give further to you. When it's all about introspection, it's not about sitting back and thinking, it's about sitting back and introspect. Move out of yourself, talking to yourself, observing yourself, introspect if you want to. And there is Bart and there is Moeyaert, and I hope that will be the same for you. I came back from New York as a different person. And it's fantastic to come back as a different person. I hope this evening, when you get home, you will be different too. Because change is what happens if you like the state of motion called introspection. Enjoy. Have a nice day.